situation. Still, like, I do feel like Matt's worth it.
Bachelor alum Heather Martin appears on Matt James' season, and we're taking a closer look at her role on the show. Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We have to talk about Heather Martin and Matt James, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Gabby Gonta, and I'm joined by the lovely Avery Grooms today. Hi, Avery.
Hi, Gabby.
So we have a shocking appearance in the latest promo for Matt James' Bachelor season, and it includes Bachelor Nation alum Heather Martin. She was best known for being on Colton's season of The Bachelor as the girl who'd never been kissed. Now she's here to shoot her shot at Matt James. So, Avery, I want to know, what are your initial thoughts on Heather? Did you watch her on Colton's season, or do you think that, her and Matt would make a cute couple if it works out in the end?
Yes, I do remember her from Colton's season, but I definitely did not watch that season as intensely as we've been watching these past ones. But I remember she was like a great, sweet girl. I'm just confused on why she chose to show up now to Matt James's season. Why didn't she apply sooner? Do Tyler and Hannah have something to do with this? Because I know that's a mutual friend. I'm just really confused on how this is all going to play out and why she chose to wait and not do this from back in when she did know him, or if she did even know him. The whole thing's just kind of confusing to me.
Exactly. Those are very fair questions. Those are questions that all of the Bachelor Nation has right now. And actually, Bachelor producer Robert Mills gave us a little bit more insight on why exactly she did come on the show. On the Bachelor Recap podcast this week, he said, quote, "She felt for sure this was her husband and basically did anything she could to get there and track him down." So this is a very interesting quote. I think specifically the word husband is pretty shocking. When you say you see someone completely as your husband, it just reminds me of Claire and Dale almost, where it was like love at first sight. So it makes me think maybe it will work out for them, because she seems really sure, especially to put herself into this bubble situation where it's kind of crazy and there's so much competition because there's 30 plus other girls. But she seemed very confident and ready to take that on because she ended up on the show a little bit. So what are your thoughts about what this producer had to say about Heather being on the show?
So if she feels that he's for sure her husband, I'm going to assume that they knew each other prior to this, because how else can you be so sure? I just don't understand that. But with that being said, I wonder what type of relationship this was. Was it intimate or was it just friends? Because for all we know, it probably wasn't public. That's why we know nothing about it, but it definitely probably could have been a possibility.
That is a very good point. I think Matt even says when he's sitting on the couch with her in the promo,
I feel like I'm in a dream right now.
That could either be like, I'm so glad you're here because they did have a past relationship, or it could be like a nightmarish dream, like you're kind of a stalker and now this is getting kind of weird. Who knows how it's going to play out? I think it's also interesting that I think Heather is 25 now, and when she was on Colton's season, she was 23. So she's always been one of the younger contestants, and to, outright say, I think this is my husband, you'd have to be really confident to do that, to be ready to get married at 23 or 25, to be on these shows and just put your whole self out there. So maybe that's the reason. I'm so curious to see what goes down with them. But of course, we know when Heather shows up to the resort in the teaser clip, it shows her pulling up into a car and Chris Harrison is there. And he then says, "Heather, what are you doing here? You could honestly destroy this whole thing for Matt." So this is another this is the bomb that, ruined everything. So one of those moments like from back in Tayshia's season. So who knows when Heather is going to show up? I'm not so sure it's going to be next week, but probably pretty soon here. And I think that her arrival is really going to stir up a lot of things in the girls and might make Matt do a double take. Even if he didn't think about her in that way before, she's certainly, an option now. So we aren't exactly sure, like we were saying, the details of her and Matt's past relationship. Other than that, they're mutual friends with Hannah Brown. So they possibly met, maybe dated before. It's kind of up in the air. Hopefully they'll get all into that in the episodes that she's in. But what are your predictions, Avery? How long do you think she will stay?
Well, based off of what we know, which isn't that much. I'm going to assume they knew each other before this. But with that in mind, I feel like if something was there then, one of them would have acted on it, or I feel like it just something wasn't there to begin with, and that's why she's coming now. But I feel like if it was meant to be, it would be meant to be when they already knew each other, not now. I feel like her showing up now is kind of a little too late, and that's why he's like, I feel like this is a dream because it's someone from his actual reality coming into this bubble, and it's just a very weird dynamic. But based off of what we've seen and what we know, I feel like she's not going to stay just because that's not the vibe, but I could be totally wrong. And it could definitely depend on when she decides to show up, if that's before the 4 girls who are also coming on or after. That's definitely going to add a lot more fire to the flames.
Very true. I think it's also good to note that in the trailer, one of the girls say, like, we've been here for weeks now. We've been trying to get to know Matt for a little while now. And then now, you know, this other new girl is coming in who has a little bit of a history with him probably. So it might be, like you were saying, it might be too late for her. He might be so progressed with some of these other relationships that her coming in maybe doesn't make him do a double take, because he's got, you know, blinders on for a couple of the girls and he's really running with that. Because, you know, in the end of all of this, he just needs to choose one. So he's got plenty of options and probably really invested in some of them. So I think you're right. It's either going to be it's too late for her because he's got his eyes focused on some other girls, or he's going to give her a shot for a week or 2 or something like that. And we can at least get to know them and their history a little bit better, which we're looking forward to. Here's another question, Avery, throwing a wrench in things, creating a hypothetical. What if maybe they did have a random hookup in the past? I know they're both very religious, so that might be a reason that she's drawn to him as being husband material and all that. But maybe they flirted, you know, back in the day, or went on a date or something like that. And so maybe it didn't end well then, or maybe it was during quarantine or something when they couldn't really have a date experience. And then she wanted to hop on this show and get like the full experience of dating Matt James. Or it was a situation where she saw all these girls, you know, vying for his heart, and she realized, oh shoot, it's a little bit of a jealousy moment. Like, I wish I had more time with him or something like that. So just throwing those hypotheticals out there. Do you think that's a possibility, or are they going to reveal that to us on the show?
I think it's a huge possibility that they had like a casual hookup. Maybe it wasn't a hookup, but maybe just like a friendly kiss, you know, some one-on-one time together where they got deep, especially considering that their mutual friend is Hannah and Tyler C, which was the whole entire like quarantine crew. I'm sure she was involved in that somehow. And those two are already like an on and off couple. So I could definitely see her and Matt maybe just like bored quarantine. I don't know. It's definitely possible. And then, like you said, she sees them on the show and is like, oh no, is it too late? And then all these feelings come out. So now she feels like she needs to come fight for her husband, who she thinks could be potentially. So I don't know, kind of crazy, but I definitely feel like they had some type of past, but maybe it meant nothing to him and something to her. Who knows?
Those are great points, and I think any of these theories that we've come up with today could be how it ends with Heather and Matt. That's all we have to share with you for news with these two today, but of course we want to know your thoughts, so let us know in the comments. What do you think of Heather and Matt together? Are they a cute couple? Do they have a past? What are your theories about their friendship, their relationship, or everything that's going to go down between them this season? Let us know. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future Bachelor videos, because we'll be back right here to talk more about it soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Gabby Gonta, and I was joined by Avery Grooms today. You can follow us on social at our handles on the screen right now. Come say hi and talk all things Matt James. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.